Nintendo game releases are always extremely hyped up, and Princess Peach Showtime is no different. There has been so much talk and so much excitement surrounding this game, but of course that means that the media has to find ways to kind of attack the games that came before this one, the one that they're deeming a proper and modern Princess Peach game, because now they're attacking Super Princess Peach, a game that debuted on the Nintendo DS in 2005, saying that game was actually pretty sexist. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, of course, the media is in a frenzy right now because of Sweet Baby Inc., narrative consultation companies, and Gamergate 2, but they have decided to put out this article titled "Remembering the Cringe" surrounding Super Princess Peach. Of course, they cannot for 5 minutes just let something exist without comparing it to another product that released, because they just want to attack the previous products, in this case Super Princess Peach. It says for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Princess Peach headlines her own game in the soon-to-be released Princess Peach Showtime for Nintendo Switch. It says Peach's previous starring adventure, Super Princess Peach, debuted on Nintendo DS in 2005 and inverted the typical story of a Super Mario Bros. Game, tasking the princess with rescuing dudes in distress, Mario and Luigi. Very charming game. I've gotta be honest, I do think that Princess Peach is a really fun character. I've always really liked her, and so many other people have as well. I have absolutely no problem that they're releasing Princess Peach Showtime. I'm actually pretty excited for it, but of course, they now are going not just really at this game, but about the past games that kind of inspired this one. It says, like Super Princess Peach Showtime appears to be targeted at a younger audience based on its forgiving level difficulty and simple controls. There are other similarities, including Peach having a sentient object as a sidekick. In Showtime, it's a magical ribbon. In Super Princess Peach, it's a boy who was transformed into a magical parasol named Perry. This isn't very surprising, even if you look at something like Super Mario Odyssey. Same thing happened with the hat, but thankfully there have been other changes. It says the tenor of the conversation around the new game seems to have progressed compared to how Super Princess Peach was written about at the time. And Nintendo's current explanation of her special abilities in Showtime is far less cringeworthy and sexist than the startup for her DS adventure. And what are they saying was so sexist about the other game, about Super Princess Peach? Well, the fact that she was emotional, and that happened to be a big part of her character. It says Super Princess Peach was originally planned for the Game Boy Advance, but that transition in the format was evident in the simplistic implementation of the DS's touchscreen, as Peach players could call upon 4 emotions, or vibes as the game described them, that powered her abilities. Those vibes, joy, rage, gloom, and calm, were accessible by tapping the 4 corners of the DS touchscreen, and let Peach set objects on fire by tapping into her anger and soaking levels with tears with her overdramatic bawling. So basically, they are saying that it is sexist, that her game design was focused around her emotions. Why is that a problem? But I don't personally, as a woman, see any issue with having a female character who uses her emotions to affect her enemies, or affect a battlefield, or even the gameplay. Like, these are not things that are negative in my opinion, but of course, because we have a female character who is using her emotions against her enemies, they're saying that, oh, that's sexist because she was highly emotional and it's a stereotype. But funny enough, of course, we've all been talking about Gamergate 2 and narrative consultation companies and the effects that Gamergate 1 had on the industry, and Polygon straight up references one of the women at the forefront of Gamergate 1, Anita Sarkeesian, because of course mentally stable people wouldn't be complaining about Super Princess Peach, but people like Anita would. In her 2013 Tropes versus Women in Video Games video, Damsel in Distress Part 3, critic Anita Sarkeesian, I would say she's more of an activist, but okay, argued that Super Princess Peach's mood swing based powers made the game a train wreck of gender stereotypes. Oh no, women happen to have emotion. You know who else do as well? Men. And there are video games where there are men who are super angry, and that is what drives them. I mean, even look at Kratos, right? Kratos is a perfect example of that. His rage drives him. That's just being a human. Human emotion drives these human-esque characters. And yes, she might have a little bit of a dramatized version of her emotions, gloom, calm, joy, rage, and she can, like, basically summon oceans to whisk away her enemies. But at the same time, it's not like this hasn't happened in video games before, in video games with male characters. Peach's powers are her out-of-control, frantic female emotions. The only person who is calling them frantic female emotions is Anita Sarkeesian. She can throw a temper tantrum and rage her enemies to death, or bawl her eyes out and wash the bad guys away with tears. Essentially, Nintendo has turned a PMS joke into their core gameplay mechanic. Oh no, you can't have emotions in these types of characters or else they're seen as sexist. This is just so ridiculous on so many levels, because Super Princess Peach did not have any weird sexist undertones, and when it came to this new game, Princess Peach Showtime, they had nothing they had to correct, right? Because that's the narrative that Polygon is running, is that Nintendo has changed their ways, and they have looked at the criticism of all of those years ago, and they're trying actively to change how they view women and how they view fictional female characters, which is absurd. Nintendo did not owe men or women any apologies over this Peach game, and it's sad to see the media try to stick to points someone like Anita Sarkeesian has made in the past. Anita Sarkeesian is not a relevant individual. Okay, she is not a video game critic. All she wants to do, and all she wanted to do then, was tear down the gaming industry to shape it more into what she believed the industry should look like. And it's people like her which are the reason why we're now having conversations about a Gamergate 2, and why outlets like Polygon are becoming even more irrelevant with every single article like this that they release. They have proven that they have not changed over the years. Gamergate 1 was about ethics in video game journalism, and us trying to tell these journalists, hey, we need you to do better. We need you to actually try to do your job. And Polygons are just proving that nothing has changed over the years. Of course, they like to call Gamergate a major harassment campaign, and that, of course, is the narrative with Gamergate 2 now, that, Sweet Babying Detected was just a list made to harass developers, when of course that was not the case at all whatsoever. I mean, video game journalism is in an extremely rough place. Journalism as a whole is in a rough spot right now. But seeing articles like this release are just absolutely pathetic. Clearly, they would rather be writing about feminism, yet they couldn't get jobs writing for a feminist magazine that actually pays, and I highly doubt that Polygon pays well, but they couldn't get a job at Forbes or Bloomberg, so they write for Polygon instead. And of course, these are the types of pieces that they're putting out, which are absolutely trash heaps. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.